what's up? Sanisa, Super Bad Estrada here, and I just want to give a huge special shout out to the relay. Thank you so much for all of the continuous support, and thank you for all of the support during and after and before every single fight.
Welcome to the motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
So we'll start with this. It appears the rumors have checked out. The rumors were true, and Senicia Estrada versus Yo Costa Valle undisputed title fight will be the co-feature on Top Rank's March 29th card in Glendale, Arizona, pitting former champion Oscar Valdez against former world title challenger Liam Wilson. Senicia Estrada has decided to go straight to her grudge match with Yo Costa Valle, which also doubles as an undisputed title fight. Estrada initially thought she would test out her surgically repaired right hand against another opponent before battling Valle later on this year in their 105-pound title unification fight. BoxingScene.com has learnt, however, that Estrada and Valle have instead agreed to meet March 29th at the Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona, in what promises to be an all-action shootout. I was always skeptical as to whether or not this fight would happen. I felt like what Yo Costa was waiting for was for Senicia to outgrow minimum weight, vacate her titles, and subsequently move up. I wasn't sure if Valle really wanted this, but credit to her for accepting the match.
She's not gonna win, though.
These rivals might have met already, if not for Senicia Estrada further damaging a ligament in her right hand during her tougher-than-anticipated 10-round unanimous decision victory over Argentinian underdog Leonela Paula Judica on July 28th at the Palms Casino Resort's Pearl Theater in Las Vegas. Valle challenged Estrada in the ring that night to fight her next in her native Costa Rica. But Estrada's injury required surgery and time off from training. Top Rank, Estrada's promoter, always planned for Estrada versus Valle to take place in the United States because both boxers will make more money than if they were to fight in the Nicaraguan-born Valle's current country of residence. Airing Estrada versus Valle on ESPN, which Top Rank has an exclusive output deal, will afford them greater exposure as well.
I remember after Senicia's last fight,
Yo Costa Valle said that Senicia should travel to Costa Rica to fight her because in Costa Rica she sells out stadiums, whereas Senicia, she just fights in theaters. But as luck would have it,
it's not luck, it's what I told you, that even if Yo Costa is more popular in Costa Rica than Senicia is in America, ultimately, there's more money for the fight in America. In all likelihood, that's where the fight's gonna be.
And here it is. Senicia Estrada, understandably, didn't want to make any concessions to Golden Boy Promotions, her former promoter. Oscar De La Hoya's company, which represents Valle and Estrada, parted ways in July of 2022, well over a year ago, after they couldn't come to an agreement on a contract extension. Senicia Estrada will end an 8-month layoff versus Valle. Her upcoming opponent has fought 2 times since Estrada defeated Judica. Valle won a 10-round unanimous decision against Guatemala's Maria Macheo Santizo on September 16th in California, and Mexico's Anabel Ortiz on November 4th in Cartago, Costa Rica. Valle's been busy,
but she won't be victorious.
Yo Costa Valle, who was a bit busier last year than Senicia was. Yo Costa fought 3 times, where Senicia only fought twice. Though I'd wager, if it wasn't for that injured right hand, Senicia likely would have fought 1 more time before last year was out. Now, the last time we saw Senicia, she really didn't look her best opposite the ring the former Argentinian champion, Leonela Paula Judica. And there's a reason for that. You know, Leonela Paula Judica, she's a lot taller than your average minimum weight, mostly because she moved down in weight. She used to campaign north of minimum weight. So you have a very long and limber fighter that uses their height and uses their length, moving laterally and walking their opponent into straight punches. That's why she was able to land so many shots on Senicia. Whereas Yo Costa Valle, she's the opposite. She's a shorter, stumpier fighter who needs to be mid-range to inside to get off her punches. Comparatively, Senicia is going to be taller than her, longer than her.
And it will be up to Yo Costa Valle to close the distance.
Getting close, she has to try to. She has to be the aggressor because she can't hope to win this fight being the defender and boxing from the outside. She can't hope to win doing that. Yo Costa doesn't have the height, the length, or the style for that kind of fight. So she's going to have to try to take it to Senicia Estrada. where Senicia is likely to pick her apart. I expect that Yokasta Valle, a mid-range to inside combination puncher, she's going to be the aggressor and Senicia is going to be the defender. Senicia is a lot more malleable than Yokasta Valle is. Yokasta really is limited to fighting within close quarters, whereas Senicia, she can box from the outside or bang on the inside, alternate between the two.
She can alternate from boxing and banging. She can alternate from fighting orthodox to fighting southpaw. That's what I mean when I say that Senicia is more malleable. She is more adjustable, able to adjust.
Because Yokasta Valle has to get in close. She can't hope to win the fight boxing from the outside. She's got to get mid-range to inside. I think Senicia knows that, and I think Senicia will outmaneuver her. I think Senicia has better feet, better movement, and is a more coordinated fighter than Yokasta Valle. Not because Yokasta's not good, but because Senicia's just better.
And stronger.
Even though Senicia is the more refined fighter of the two, don't mistake her for a finesse fighter. She's got more firepower than Yokasta Valle. Yokasta's an action fighter and a combination puncher with a fan-friendly style, but Senicia's got more than enough firepower to get her respect and fight her off if she does get inside. And the maneuvering ability to not smother her work while she does it, beating those feet to create space, enough room to throw your punches and drive your punches. Senicia's just better than Yokasta in every department. And I reiterate, it's not because Yokasta's not good, it's just that Senicia's better.
And I think Senicia is going to win. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be an action fight, but it's going to be lopsided.
Senicia Estrada on points is the logical way to go. In men's cruiserweight and heavyweight news, the story is that Jai Opetaia has left Tyson Fury's camp after sparring him for just 5 rounds. Jai Opetaia has returned home to Australia due to the lack of orthodox sparring available in Fury's camp after sparring him for just 5 rounds in Saudi. He takes on Mayris Briedis in a rematch of their 2022 encounter on Fury's undercard, what is intended to be the co-main event to the main event.
Jai Opetaia leaving Tyson Fury's camp after flying halfway around the world to help him prepare and just sparring him for 5 rounds.
That's it?
Just 5 rounds.
That's it?
It's given rise to certain suspicions.
Story is that there's no orthodox sparring available for Jai Opetaia in Fury's camp, but last I checked, Tyson Fury's ambidextrous. He can box orthodox or he can box southpaw. To that, a Twitter user that goes by the name PJ Bennett queried, there must be more to it than that. Jai would have known who was available for sparring before he flew over there, and he wouldn't have flown over there for only 5 rounds.
It's a waste of time. He's got his fight to prepare for, his own fight to prepare for on that same card within that same time frame. You flew him to Saudi to box for only 5 rounds?
Another Twitter user that goes by the name Frank Slidebottom presented 3 possibilities. One, he was too good for Fury, and Fury got mad at being made to look stupid and booted him. Two, Fury wasn't seriously training, and Jai left because he wanted to get ready for his own fight. Or 3, he got the inside scoop and expected Fury to pull out and didn't waste any time.
I'm sorry, but the idea that you couldn't get Jai Opetaia, a southpaw, you couldn't get Jai any orthodox sparring partners, or there were no orthodox sparring partners in Fury's camp when Fury boxes orthodox himself, that doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
The cover story is that Jai Opetaia recently returned from Saudi Arabia, where he sparred and trained with Fury. They were fantastic competitive rounds and an incredible experience for Jai. However, any talk of either boxer being dropped is not true. Jai is now back in Australia, finalizing his preparation to defend his world title, and cannot wait to do so in Saudi. Now, why would that be the situation? Why would they try to dispel rumors that Jai Opetaia got the best of Fury in sparring, dropped Fury in sparring? Why would they want to dispel that?
Because of where it came from.
That is, where it could have come from. You're talking about a training camp. There were only so many people there, and of those people, Tyson Fury and Tyson Fury's team, least of all, would leak that information to anyone. Thus, it would have to be someone else, someone who isn't a member of Fury's team, namely Jai Opetaia, or just somebody else who was there. It narrows the pool of options as to who the leak came from and who the mole is. That's why you would dispel those rumors. You don't want to develop a bad reputation as being a blabbermouth.
Leaking vital details of another fighter's camp, though inadvertently they may have already given too much away. You're saying that Jai left Fury's camp because there's no orthodox sparring there when Tyson Fury's ambidextrous. He can box orthodox. What you're telling us is Fury's fighting southpaw.
When you were there, he was boxing you primarily out of the southpaw stance, which means in the Usyk fight, he means to box as a southpaw. That's how he's going to come out. Usyk is a southpaw, Fury can box southpaw, and that appears to be how he's training, how he's sparring. Because if Jai left the camp due to no orthodox sparring, well, the guy he's sparring is Fury. And Fury must have been boxing southpaw because he wasn't boxing orthodox. I can believe the rumor that Jai Opetaia dropped Tyson Fury in sparring and perhaps hurt him because it's not unusual for Tyson Fury to get dropped. He got dropped by Nevin Pajcik, Steve Cunningham, 4 times by Wilder, and more recently by Francis Ngannou. So Jai dropping him is not outside the realm of possibility. Jai being a shorter, slicker, faster fighter than Tyson Fury is used to because Jai is a cruiserweight and he's a southpaw.
Very athletic southpaw, very fast southpaw, and a very explosive puncher.
Some of these characteristics are what Tyson Fury is accustomed to bringing to the table, whether it's a sparring session or a boxing match. He's used to being the one who's light on his feet, nimble, athletic. He's used to being those things, but that's against the big men, against the lumbering lummoxes that are already very slow, whereas Jai Opetaia, he's none of those things. I don't think Tyson Fury is used to that, and I remember in the Joe Rogan podcast years ago, he said that smaller guys give him more trouble than bigger guys because they're so slick.
Tyson isn't used to somebody being more athletic than he is, lighter on his feet than he is. He can outmaneuver the big men, but he can't outlittle the little men.
These rumors are true. They're giving it away that Tyson Fury plans on coming out southpaw, and if you've been seeing the recent images of him from out of Saudi now that he's there, he looks fit and trim. He looks slim.
He didn't slim down because he plans on running Usyk over, I don't think. No, I think he slimmed down, he's fit and trim, because he plans on boxing.
Looks a lot slimmer than he's looked in years. Slimmer than he looked with Ngannou, with Chisora, with Wilder the last 2 times. He actually put on weight for Wilder because that was the plan. Overpower Wilder and smother him, manhandle him. But with Usyk, that can't be the strategy if you're fit and trim in camp.
If you're losing weight, it's because you want to be lighter on your feet. If you're losing weight, it's because you want to be able to move around. You want to be able to box. And you don't need that extra access slowing you down.
Take into consideration everything that we're hearing, including the rumors that Jai Opetaia dropped Tyson Fury in sparring. That's why he left his camp so abruptly. That Jai himself, he can't get any orthodox sparring partners. If you think about it, what that means is Tyson Fury slimming down and losing weight because he wants to be able to move, and he must be coming out southpaw because Jai couldn't get any orthodox sparring.
These are vital details.
The last time we saw Fury, looks like he didn't even train for Francis Ngannou. He didn't take that assignment seriously, but behind the shock he suffered at his hands, it looks like that woke him up, and he's taking this assignment seriously.
Trying to.
What's the virtue of hanging back and boxing Usyk as opposed to moving forward and mowing him down? What makes one strategy more desirable than the other? Well, moving forward and mowing Usyk down the way that Fury mowed Wilder down, that would prove difficult because Usyk's not Wilder. He's not built like Wilder. He's not a long and limber, lanky fighter that has poor balance and 2 left feet. With Wilder, you can do that because if you do that, you'll disarm his right hand by not giving him enough room to throw it, and since he doesn't weigh that much for a heavyweight, you can push him back and manhandle him. However, Usyk is light on his feet. Usyk is agile. If you try to mow him down, he'll bull and matador you, play at the angles, and hit you in the blind spots. Because so much of Fury's weight is distributed in his trunk as opposed to his legs, if he hits you in the blind spots, you might go over. Not because he's so strong, but because you're off balance.
Fury's gone over plenty of times. 7 by my count. And these were not all massive punchers, big punchers like, Wilder was supposed to be.
Thus, there are certain drawbacks to trying to move forward and mow Usyk down. That might prove a lot more difficult to do than when you fought Wilder. So instead, you hang back, you shift your weight under your back foot, which will help you achieve better balance, and because you're taller and longer, you force Usyk to come to you, where Fury, at least in theory, would hope to walk him into a big shot, a big punch, make him earn his meal. Don't just give up your height to the shorter fighter.
If you try to mow him down, that's what you're doing. You're giving up your height to him, whereas if you hang back and shift your weight onto your back foot, you're forcing him to come to you because he's shorter.
Yeah.
He has to be close to you to hit you.
Now, where Fury could end up coming up short with that strategy is even if you use your height and your length to force Usyk to come to you, he's still faster than you are. He may be faster on his feet with faster hands, and I know that Usyk looks to be a little over a year older than Fury, maybe 2 years older than Fury. Usyk is 37, where Fury is 35, but Usyk is a consummate professional. Tyson Fury isn't. Usyk takes care of himself between fights. Tyson Fury slams down beers and treats his nose.
Tyson Fury had to lose all that weight ahead of this fight because he had that weight to lose.
So even if Usyk is a little older than Tyson Fury, I don't think that's going to be a problem, and I still think he's going to be the faster guy, faster on his feet with faster hands, even if he's a lot smaller. And in boxing him, you might end up keeping him in the fight. So much of what people say in reference to this fight pertains to Fury's size, as opposed to his boxing, that he's just too big and too strong for Usyk. But if he's hanging back and shifting his weight onto his back foot,
It's not what he did to Wilder.
if he's moving lateral and hanging back and shifting his weight onto his back foot, well, that's not bullying Usyk, that's boxing Usyk. What you're doing is overemphasizing Fury's size and what he weighs, and him just being so much bigger than Usyk, as if he's just gonna mow him down the way that he mowed Wilder down. Well, not if he's boxing out of the southpaw stance, and not if he's fit and trim. More fit and trim in this camp than he has been in a very long time.
And he can do those things, but I don't think he's better out of the southpaw stance than Usyk is out of the southpaw stance. That's just something that Fury resorts to from time to time, but he's not better at it than Usyk.
And he can lose the weight to try and be more agile, but that still won't make him more agile than Usyk, and the pace that Usyk sets for a fight. I think the fighters are aware of it when it's happening, but he keeps you working, keeps you moving, keeps you guessing, in a constant state of tension that over time drains you, on top of what punches get in, on top of what punches he does land. That's why he seems to get stronger as a fight progresses, where the other guy gets weaker. It's because they're exhausted. It's not because he cracked so hard that he got Daniel Dubois out of there. It's because Daniel was exhausted.
And Fury might be trying to keep up with him, all that height and those long arms. He can bob and weave under the sweeping hooks. He can slip and roll.
Roll and counter. I don't actually think Fury has better timing than Usyk. That's one of his more subtle qualities that isn't as obvious. He knows exactly when to throw the straight left hand and where.
Being honest, I think the pressure is more on Fury than it is on Usyk, because he's the one with the profile. He's the one they likened to the heavyweights of old.
The one who stunk out the joint in the last ring appearance. I think he's the one under pressure, and I don't think he handles pressure well. And that's why I've got Usyk winning.